Well, hello, YouTubers and fellow toy train lovers. I'm going to run some of my favorite Marx military tinplate trains. And the two on the bottom loops, the one on the right is an 897, and the one on the inside is a 500 Canadian Pacific. And these were made between 1939 and 1940 ish, and don't know if they made any in 41 because of Pearl Harbor. They probably did. But on the outside is the 897, and this is the loudest of all my Marx engines. And don't know why, it runs just fine. I love the fanciful, it's definitely a toy, very toy-like. But I love the fancy lithography they did on the side. This was originally originally made as a clockwork engine, and then they began offering these electric powered engines. And this came with its electric motor. It's hard to tell, but the grab bar up on top is all lithograph. And this guy is the bad guy you don't want to run into. He's got the big siege gun, which will actually fire projectiles, put your eye out. He's got the tank, and the tank is a wind-up tank. You can remove it from the car, it'll run around the floor, and it has a flint in it like a Ronson cigarette lighter, and it will spark. And there's two large machine guns up here, and they spark as it runs along the floor. In here you'll see a machine gun, very large machine gun, and it actually has a little crank on the side, made for a child's hand, really. I can crank it, but it's kind of hard to get it to go around, and it will go click, 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 click on a leaf spring, and it's supposed to sound like a machine gun. And this is an anti-aircraft gun, which will also shoot projectiles and put your eye out. And a rubber band around it, like I did the siege gun, because it'll swing and it'll go up and down, and I don't want it to do that underneath my maces and get stuck. And this is my last car, which I just call it the cannon car, and you'll see a little, not sure if you can see it, there's a little crank here for a kid to turn, and that also hits a leaf spring, goes clack, clack, clack. So let's get this one out of the way. And this is my quietest Marx engine. Listen to that. Except for the DC, the modern DC ones. And this is a Canadian Pacific made about 1939. And of course marked as an Army Supply Train number 500. But if you're a Marx fan, you'll notice that this is in the shape of a Canadian Pacific tender. The Army Supply Train tender. And you'll see the Ordnance Department. These shells are modern replacement shells. The original shells would have been, or bullet projectiles, would have been painted silver. And they're made out of wood. And these sandbags are obviously been replaced. I got them from Michael's. I think they're supposed to be flour bags. I keep hitting the wrong transformer. And this is a really hard one to find. This is the U.S. Army truck that went with this carrier, and it has the flat back. It does not dump like the dump trucks that Marx made, and it has the original, made in around 1940, cardboard top. People have asked me to copy it for them, and I'm afraid to flatten it out that it'll break. It's that brittle. So, it gets a lot of TLC. And this is a working spotlight car. Marx made quite a few different ones. I believe, a red handle on the back. They made faux spotlight cars that reflected off the lights in the room. But this one actually has a center pickup that you may be able to see. And it gets power from the track. This is a radio car. It does not have the original antenna because the original antenna would catch underneath my mesas. So I just made a round one out of wire, which actually looks a little more like a antenna they used back then for radios. And this is called the official car. You see a lot of guys in here smoking cigarettes, lighting their pipes, reading newspapers. And they made this with and without a trailing lamp, red lamp. And this is the one, of course, without one. But you don't want people to see your red lamp out at night if you're fighting a war. And up above is modern Marx made by the Flynns in around 2000, and this is the Thor car. And I don't know if it's supposed to be nuclear powered or what, but I love the painting on the side with the cannons. And of course it's got the painting on the top. These were basically, this was a wagon top tender, and they just relocated the tower of the tender to the middle of the locomotive and put some little pipes in there to make it look like cannons. And it has a one-way DC motor and a headlight. There's a little passenger car that came with it. Nice lithography, but they didn't give you all the people inside. They kind of left that out. And there's the caboose. And see if I can get this. Can't tell if this is. coming in clearly or not, because I'm having to look way down at my lens. But it's the Thor caboose, and all they did was do different lithography on a Marx caboose and add the cannons to the tower. So I'm going to run them all, put on some patriotic music, and that's going to be it for the day. Now let's shut them down. Well, the 897 got a little quieter. I think it's because it hasn't been running in a couple of years. I cleaned a lot of dust off of it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your 4th of July. Mine is spent inside the house because it's, once again, we're having a pretty nasty heat wave here in Northern California. It wasn't so bad when I was younger, but now that I'm older and I can afford the air conditioning, I say the hell with it, I'm staying inside and play with my trains. Okay, bye-bye.